Detective Olivia Benson.
It's Olivia.
Captain Benson.
For more than 26 years, Mariska Hargitay has played the fearless and compassionate detective Captain Olivia Benson on Law and Order Special Victims Unit.
You did nothing wrong. Nothing.
The longest-running primetime drama character in television history. Now, Mariska is playing detective in her own story, sharing in a new documentary of her clouded childhood and the mother she says she barely knew, 1950s Hollywood icon Jayne Mansfield.
I've spent my whole life distancing myself from my mother, Jayne Mansfield, the sex symbol.
Jayne Mansfield has leaped from total obscurity to the most photographed woman in show business.
As director and producer of My Mom Jayne, Mariska reconstructs a relationship with her mom, who tragically died in a car crash when Mariska was just 3 years old.
For me, a lot of this is about reclaiming what was lost, even physical things. So I decided to finally go through our family storage unit, because no one has opened the boxes since 1969.
In the process, she uncovers secrets.
What did she cut out?
And finds healing.
Something that I've also realized, keeping a secret doesn't honor anyone.
Mariska speaking of her mother often, sharing on Today just last year that she was wearing a bow in her mom's honor.
I just found this photo of my mother when she was 8 years old, and I brought it. And I was like, you are my inspiration.
Inspirational and influential, she says, just like her mom, Jayne.
She's a part of me. I want to know her as Jayne, my mom, Jayne.
We are so happy to have Mariska here. Mariska, I mean, we both watched it. We cried. This is an extraordinary feat, this documentary. I hope every single person watches it. Yes. It's a beautiful labor of love.
Oh, thank you.
And for so many years, this was the story you didn't want to tell.
At all. Yeah.
Why now?
I think I was ready. You know, I was ready, and it's something that I've been carrying for so long. And then, you know, we grow and we evolve and change, and I realized it wasn't doing anybody any good to keep it a secret. And, you know, the only way out of anything is through. And so I just saw this as an invitation. I see it really as a family movie for people to have the courage to look inside their own family. And for me, you know, the outcome is truly glorious. There's so much healing in it of things that I never thought that I would, like a prison I never thought I'd get out of. And so it's been just an extraordinary experience for me and my family.
There's a lot, and we'll get into it, because there's some reveals in this, things that you never thought you'd speak about publicly. No. But let's just first start with Jayne Mansfield. She was one of the most famous photographed women in the world. She died in a car accident when you were just 3 years old. You never knew her, and yet you knew this public persona. And in the documentary, you talk about struggling with it, like her persona and what you felt about it. And it kind of put you off in a lot of ways.
It did. I had a very complicated, you know, relationship with her. And I think I was, you know, angry that I didn't know the person behind the pose, if you will. You know, I felt like there's this person, and what was that voice? And, you know, we want our moms to be normal. You want your mom. I wanted my mom to be June Cleaver, right? I wanted just a regular mom that, like, baked cookies and put notes in my lunch bag. And instead, I had this, you know, mom that walked around in a bikini and heels. And what is that? And why are you talking like that? So as I got older, you know, as we learn that we are so complex as human beings. There are so many parts of us, and I wanted to get to know the other parts. I remember seeing a candid photo of her that just made me go, oh, I see this other part of you. I want to know her instead of the pose and the sex symbol and that voice that drove me nuts, because I'm like, that's not your real voice. I don't want to know about your measurements. I want to know about what made your heart sing? What made you laugh? What made you cry? What was touching to you? What pain did you carry? What made you like... So it was an extraordinary journey because there was so much archival.
Yes.
And for any filmmaker, that is the dream, right? And that is a luxury because most filmmakers don't have that kind of, the breadth of that archival. And it was just such a gift. And even, because The Voice was a thing for me, to hear her real voice, when she dropped down in that register, I went, oh, there you are. There you are.
I mean, that's part of what this thing did for me. It really revealed just this whole new side. I mean, I knew you were Jayne Mansfield star. I didn't know who she was. And I think now the world is going to find out precisely who she was.
Right.
One of the more fascinating things for me also, seeing all of your siblings.
Oh.
When you approached them and you said to your siblings and you said to your stepmom and you said to your birth father, you said, hey, here's what I want to do. What do you think about this? Were they on board?
Well, I think my birth father and my sisters.
Well, we should just back up for a moment, and I don't think we're giving a spoiler alert to say that you reveal in the documentary that your father, Mickey Hargitay, who raised you and who you adored, you found out was not your biological father.
Yeah.
And this is a big theme in the documentary about healing and. As Craig said,
and it really,
you brought your whole family into this.
And that's something that really shattered me when I found out. Like, undid me, on a cellular level. And I really had an identity crisis because before that I had, my father was my rock and my mentor and my everything. And I wanted to be like him. He was my hero. And I always thought, I've always said, the best things about me come from my dad. And so to find that out, and the way I found it out was so brutal. It was so brutal. But to answer the question, so he was thrilled, right? Because he been living with the secret too all these years. And my sisters were over the moon because obviously they had been kept a secret. But my old siblings were, reticent and hesitant, like, wait, what? What? And sort of like, why digging up the past? I don't know this. And we talked about it more, and then they said, look, we support you, we trust you, and it's your story to tell.
Well, you tell it so well, and you weave together all of these strands, and I think what you're weaving with is love. And that is what really comes through. This documentary is a feat of love and what family really means. I know how hard you poured your heart into this. It's a real excavation of everything.
Truly, truly. And to approach it all with openness and curiosity, but also appreciating that we are, all of us, are so many things, and to look at each person in their humanity and not label them or put them in a box or say, you did this, or not indict anyone, but really say, what happened? What was your experience? That's how we all want to be met, how we all want to be seen.
Mariska, what do you think your mom would say about the documentary?
I think she would be really happy. Talk about being seen, right? Talk about being seen for all her facets and not just one way. I think she'd be really happy that we got to make a movie together.
So do I.
It's beautiful.
So well done.
Thank you.
Thank you,
so
Mariska. We're just so happy for you, proud of you too.
Oh, thank
friend.
you.
The HBO original documentary, My Mom Jayne, debuts tomorrow, June 27th on HBO and Max. We can't say enough about it. You got to check it out.
Credit at the end.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.